You get on the aeroplane, you've got to get through the airport here. To share his summer tips is the CEO of Dubai Airports, Paul Griffiths. Morning, Paul.
Good morning, Richard. Always good to talk to you.
First of all, let's get some context. Just how busy is this week compared to other weeks of the year at DXB?
Well, Richard, you know that we break all records very, very frequently, and this is no exception. 2.7 million guests expected in the period June 30th to July the 9th. The average daily throughput through the airport, 269,000 of our treasured customers. How amazing is that? You know, mostly Saturday, July the 5th is going to be the busiest day, 280,000 people going through. Travel tips, get the latest news on your departure from your airline and get there early, at least something like 3 hours before departure time. Many reasons for that. One, to have an absolutely smooth transition through the airport. And of course, spend a lot of time and money, hopefully, in our shops and restaurants. There's so much more to see than your last visit. We constantly upgrade everything we do, and we hope you'll notice the positive difference.
OK, lots to unpick there. Let's start with that headline number. Saturday's going to be the busiest day of the year. 208, more than 250,000 people through the airport in one day. How does 280,000 compare to an average day at DXB?
Well, regularly we talk about 250,000, so it's going to be about another 30,000 more. So it's going to be busy, but nothing that we don't cope on a sort of fairly routine basis. The team will be doing their absolute level best to make the experience a great one. And of course, let's not forget the team underneath the airport. They never come out in the light of day, the baggage team who make your cases get there just as smoothly as you do yourselves.
OK, Paul, we've known you a long time, so let's be candid. Tom and I are both flying this week, and we're not particularly looking forward to it. School holidays, Tom, you were saying you like flying, what, on a Tuesday afternoon in February?
I like, well, yeah, during school term time on a Tuesday afternoon. That's me at the airport.
Paul,
I can understand that, yeah. But look, you know, we all know that these busy summer times, we've got something to look forward to at the other end. And we do try very, very hard to make the entire journey experience as individual as we possibly can. The idea is intimacy at scale, if such a thing can possibly be achieved.
The mind boggles. Joking apart, OK, Tom and I are both flying Emirates. We're going to go through Terminal 3, which is great. World-class terminal, no questions. What about people going through Terminals 1 and 2 who aren't flying with EK?
Well, we're doing a lot of work in both of those terminals, particularly Terminal 2. Fly Dubai have just opened a brand new lounge there. We're extending the retail and customer service offerings there. Obviously, it's a very compact terminal, which means that you can get through very quickly indeed. And we're doing all sorts of things to make sure that the passenger flow is extremely smooth. The idea really is if you've got a small space, if you can make people's journey through that as quick as possible, then obviously you get greater capacity and the perception of crowding is much reduced. So it's all about passenger flow. You will know that we've introduced those optical facial recognition systems for immigration. That's coming soon for check-in as well. So the idea is that speed is all about the focus that we've got at DXB and DWC to make sure people get through quickly and have a great experience.
Well, Paul, you've set up our next question from one of our listeners and viewers. Heber has written in saying, Paul, I've heard you talk a lot about a touchless airport experience. Where do we stand with that now? That's Heber's question, Paul.
Great question, actually, Heather. Thanks for that. Yeah, we're really trying to make the entire airport experience what we call frictionless. And the idea is that from the time of arrival till you get on the plane, you will literally not stop. You will be able to go through all of the processes without actually knowing that they're there. This is something that's incredibly important for us to get right and trial, because, of course, when we roll this out at the new airport, Al Maktoum International, which will ultimately have something like 260 million people going through it. We've got to get these systems so well refined that we can get the volume of people through without anyone having the slightest hiccup on their journey. So very, very important. A lot of technology, a lot of partners we're talking to, lot of things will be trialed over the next few months. Some of you may have already seen our completely non-stop immigration trial in Terminal 3, where we've got a completely camera-based immigration system. So you literally do not stop. You just walk straight through. If we can do that for security and check-in, then that will be nirvana for me. And I shall be working on that very closely with all of our technical partners over the next few years.
Finally, Paul, what about other airports? You can do what you can at DXB, but obviously we're flying point to point, aren't we? I don't know where you are in the world at the moment, but you've clearly been through an airport. They're not all frictionless and seamless. Let's not kid ourselves, Paul. What tips can you give to travellers who are leaving DXB and ending up who knows where?
Well, you've hit the main problem, I think, with airports, that every journey has an origin and a destination. And unfortunately, some of those origins and destinations are not as slick. And I think, unfortunately, people do misunderstand what business they're in when they're running an airport. They think they're a building manager or an infrastructure manager. Actually, they should realize they're in the hospitality business. You know, everyone that comes through pays the salary of an airport employee. And we never try and forget that, because we know how important it is to give every customer a great time. Unfortunately, I think the differences between what we try and achieve at DXB and what the experience is elsewhere are sometimes quite stark. We've all got those examples, but we are working to try and actually communicate to everyone around the world what a great experience the end-to-end journey needs to be. And there are no secrets in this business. We'll happily share our experiences and hopefully make the whole travel experience across the world a much better one.
Mr. G, one thing that will make it sweeter is, of course, chocolate. The big question on the world's lips is, will there be Dubai chocolate at the airport this summer?
We are liaising with all our suppliers of that wonderful chocolate experience, and we are doing our level best to secure enough supplies. It just flies off the shelf whenever it's there. And as you know, there's a world pistachio shortage as a result of that. So we're doing our best to sate the appetite of our customers for this amazing phenomenon of Dubai chocolate. And there are many, many pretenders to that particular throne of creating the best Dubai chocolate, but it's amazing how it's become a worldwide phenomenon, and we are selling absolutely kilo and kilos of it.
Paul, great talk. You appreciate your time this morning. Good to know that Dubai travellers will not be pistachioed off this year when they're travelling out of Dubai if they want to take some Dubai chocolate as gifts for their loved ones.